A huge fight broke out here outside of a Rochester restaurant over the weekend. I'm KIMT News 3's Annalise Johnson, live with what a local advocate has to say about a rising trend in violence.
And we got some toasty temperatures in the forecast for your Tuesday and Wednesday, and some of that heat and some humidity will fuel the chance for storms. Details on that coming up.
And after a prolonged absence, the Olmsted County Free Fair is back, a time when our sense of love and joy doubles, fueled by cholesterol-laden treats. We're taking you to the fair this evening.
KIMT News 3, coverage you can count on. This is KIMT News 3 at 5.
And thanks so much for joining us for KIMT News 3 at 5. I'm George Mallet. We start today off with the weather. They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I say weather is the most important news segment of our day. And for that, we check in with KIMT Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Aaron White. Aaron, what are you tracking besides heat?
I will say we got that heat. We definitely also have the chance for a few thunderstorms coming in along with that heat and the humidity that we have in play for tomorrow and for your Wednesday. So keep that in mind. It's going to be dangerously hot for both of those days, especially more so on Wednesday, as we could be talking about heat index values over 100 by Wednesday afternoon. And some of that heat and humidity will help fuel that chance for storms. Now, today, it's not bad out there. It's on the warm side, don't get me wrong. It's 84 degrees now in downtown Rochester with a little bit of sunshine. 85 now in Mason City, seeing more of a sunny to partly cloudy sky, and that trend will continue this evening. Temperatures staying on the warm side, so if you're thinking about doing some grilling on the patio, going out for a walk this evening, we got some warm conditions. It will stay dry, partly cloudy, but we do have an excessive heat watch in effect for tomorrow and Wednesday, as we are tracking high temperatures in the 90s and some very high heat index values. I'll talk more about that and our storm chances coming up in my full forecast.
Thanks, Aaron. Well, no arrests have been made following a melee complete with gunfire that broke out at Los Jarritos Cafe over the weekend here in Rochester. KIMT News 3's Annalise Johnson joins us live from where it happened. Annalise, fill us in.
George, I'm here at the Miracle Mile parking lot. Police say the altercation involving about 50 people happened outside of Los Jarritos Cafe early Sunday morning. And a restaurant employee who I spoke to tells me, who was there when the fight happened, tells me that it broke out in one of the far corners of the parking lot.
Numerous emergency vehicles were seen here in the parking lot around 1:45 Sunday morning. The Los Jarritos Cafe employee tells me they stop serving alcohol around 1:30 and start getting people out of the restaurant anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes before 2 a.m. He saw anywhere between 8 and 12 people fighting, but many more people left the parking lot when police came. Police say the fight stemmed from a group of people blocking someone from getting into their vehicle. Los Jarritos had 2 security guards working that night, but the fight was a lot to handle. Staff stayed indoors for their safety. As officers arrived, they heard gunfire and found 2 shell casings. I spoke to Alicia Eichen, co-lead of the local chapter of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America.
We know that long-standing inequities in racial discrimination and inequities in things like healthcare and housing and education funding are all things that have contributed to gun violence in the past. And those things were just enhanced during the pandemic. And so it's not a surprise that we're seeing an increase in violence and in gun violence throughout our cities everywhere.
She tells me it does feel like we are hearing about gun violence more often in Rochester recently, and that statistics show a rise in gun violence nationally.
I also think we're seeing here locally an increase in intervention programs to help combat that, which is really exciting.
If you're concerned about gun violence in Rochester, Eichen says one of the ways you can help is by supporting community-driven prevention programs such as the Community Engagement Response Team, Playground All-Stars, and Barbershop Social Services by giving your time or money.
The employee I spoke to tells me he doesn't want this incident to deter people from coming to Los Jarritos Cafe. The staff doesn't want people who are going to be violent from hanging out inside or outside the restaurant. They do intend to ask police if someone could patrol the area around closing time in the future. Live in Rochester, Annalise Johnson, KIMT News 3.
Thank you, Annalise. Worth noting, nobody was seriously hurt, but a handful of people involved in the fight did in fact suffer minor injuries. You know, every summer you have to go to the fair, but that didn't happen last year, so the return of the Olmsted County Fair, bringing out the child in each of us, is welcome indeed. Today's activities focused on 4-H and FFA events, but tomorrow food vendors and rides will be up and running. You'll also be able to find tickets for sale on the grandstand while also enjoying the free stage. Board member Brandon Helgeson says the excitement level is high after last year's cancellation.
I think things are going pretty smooth. A couple things this morning already were like, how did we do it in 2019? Or, oh, this isn't working. Well, we haven't used it since 2019. So we're just kind of putting out those small little things as we go. But I think all things considered, everybody's just excited to be back, and we just keep chugging along.
And for a full list of fair events and showtimes for the grandstand and free stage, you can click on this story at KIMT.com. Well, the Delta variant continuing to spread through the state as the Minnesota Department of Health is reporting 424 more cases of COVID-19 and 3 more deaths. The positivity rate increased to 2.3% over the weekend, since dropping to just 1.1% in late June. Health officials are worried that we could have 4,000 deaths a day by October if the vaccination rate does not improve. More than 600,000 people in Minnesota contracted the virus, while 7,650 have died since last March. In these hot and dry conditions, the Rochester Fire Department is issuing a stern warning. The department says if you have any leftover fireworks from the 4th of July, lighting them is illegal and they can pose a fire hazard. You are able to have recreational fires and grills, but you should remain vigilant when doing so. The department says to keep any fires 25 feet away from any structure, and the fire pit can't be any larger than 3 feet in diameter and should be less than 2 feet high. Police in Austin have arrested a suspect in connection with the stolen 2018 Dodge Challenger we told you about last week. Police took Elias Wells into custody Friday. 2 reports came in from the same Ford dealership when a broken window was reported in the morning and then a stolen car later in the day. A witness told police that 2 white males and a black male fled from the car after it was abandoned in the 100 block of 12th Avenue Southwest. The NFL season is almost here, and that means training camp for teams will start this week. Most teams will begin their journey to Super Bowl 46 tomorrow. 3 of the 32 teams already started training camp over the weekend. That included the Dallas Cowboys, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the reigning Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Vikings will report to training camp Wednesday at the Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. A peak power alert is being issued for people living in North Iowa and southeastern Minnesota. Freeborn Mower Electric Cooperative in Albert Lea, My Energy Cooperative in Rushford, Heartland Power Cooperative in St. Ansgar, and People's Energy Cooperative in Orinoco are asking everyone to reduce the use of electricity. The alert started at 2 this afternoon and will end at 6 p.m. Suggestions for reducing energy include setting air conditioners to 78 degrees, using a microwave or grill instead of an oven to cook dinner. Still to come, the Red Cross wants you to practice a fire drill and to test your smoke alarm monthly. The concerns of the Iowa Red Cross after an increase in house fires.
KIMT News 3 at 5. Your local news with KIMT News 3's Amy Fleming and George Mallet. Tracking storms with Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Aaron White. This is KIMT News 3. More local news that is happening now from your community. We are coverage you can count on.